More updates are coming out on the car. Some of you guys have had it, some of you are just getting it. Today we're talking about update 2022.4.5.21 or the full soft drive beta number, which is the 10.11.2. Now we're gonna get into the drive and what happened today, but first let's talk about what some of the things are that came with this update. First of all, upgraded learning of lane geometry, more accuracy on predicting where other vehicles are turning or merging to help reduce unnecessary slowing down, improved right-of-way understanding if the map is not accurate. I'm really excited for that one. Hopefully that works. Dramatic reduction in false positive pedestrians and bicycles, as well as things like wheelchairs, motorcycles. They have improved the creeping profile by increasing the jerk when creeping starts and ends. So based on the notes, this drive should have been better at intersections. It should have been better at predicting other cars. It should have been smoother starting and stopping from cross sections. Anytime the car had to make a decision to go through an intersection or make a turn left or right while looking for other vehicles. These are all things that should have happened. Now there's a lot of mixed feedback on this update so far. A lot of people having concerns and issues with this update. In fact, here's a quick clip from the drive today. Yeah, so all of that and what happened on today's drive coming up soon. But first, here's a little bit about the sponsor of this drive. So this drive is sponsored by a company called Klutchtech, and more specifically, their glove box 4-in-1 hub. If you have a 2021 or newer model, you can take this and plug it into the glove box where you have the single USB-A port currently, making it now have 3 USB-A ports and 1 USB-C port. Because of its special design and make, it fits perfectly inside of there, and it doesn't get any error report when you actually try to use it. You can use it for dash cam, charging your phone, or plugging in a game controller and then keeping it in the glove box. Because of the amount of stuff I put inside my glove compartment, such as my vacuum, my charging adapter, I need something super low profile that's gonna offer me more ports. So something like this is exactly, well, the only thing I can actually use. Now I can't use it in my current car because it's a 2019, but my Model Y arrives next month, so I'll be sure to put it in that one. For more information on the pricing, discounts, and everything, I'll put it down below in the description. Now let's get back to that crazy update drive you're about to see. Excellent, man. I'm so thankful for all the sponsors of my channel. They're what makes this all a reality and what allows me to continue to do this. And if you don't know, I put links to all of our descriptions down below in the bottom of every single video in the description. Lots of discounts and really cool accessories down there. So make sure you check them out. And almost all of them have review videos. So be sure and check on all those as well. As you've been seeing here, we've been going through a development, and the development is something that I love going through with any new update because I really want to know how well it handles itself. There's a lot of things that happen in a development. You've got no center lines, you got cars parked on either side, and it's got to make a decision to stay in the middle of the road or hug to the side. And in this update, it hugged to the side really well. Not so close that if a guy opened up his door right away, it would screw it up, which, by the way, this update is supposed to be better at detecting open doors and kind of serving away from them. But in this update, from what I could see, no vastly different experiences there. It's still hugged to the right, just like it's been doing. In my opinion, it's been doing really good inside of neighborhoods. No issues there. The one exception here is that the last update, when I came to the end of this intersection, it was able to turn right here and get onto the main road, no problems. But you can see this time it turned right and wanted to put me right there into the bus lane again, which is an old problem. This hadn't happened until like a few updates ago, or since a few updates ago. But now in this update, it's putting me back then again into that bus lane, which is a huge disappointment. I am totally bummed to see that. Now on this first intersection, the Tesla picks up the yellow light from a great distance away and it has no problem slowing down. It was nice and smooth, which that is something that I've been really hoping to see more improvement on. I always felt like it was just 1 or 2 seconds too delayed before it started slowing down, especially if there was other cars at the light, but this was really great. Of course, there was no cars at the light on this one. Once the light turned green, it went through that really well. It accelerated smoothly. There was really nothing there that I could complain about, which is great. Coming upon this truck and trailer right here, it was interesting because it looked like that semi was super tailgating that truck, which is kind of funny. I can't wait to start seeing trailers and trucks actually as a new, illustration, but that's probably not going to happen for a while. Now, if you're new to watching full self-drive Tesla videos, you can see that my hands are hovering right there on the wheel. I keep my hands a little bit behind the wheel so you can see the whole wheel and how it's moving in my hands. I apply pressure to the wheel about every 10 to 30 seconds, depending on when the car asks for it. Right now, currently, if you're unaware, the car may be capable of handling a lot of situations without my interaction. In fact, there's times it goes for, 20, 30 miles without me interacting with it. but the law still requires I keep my hand on the wheel, which is why my hand is always there. And the way you can tell if I actually help the car is if that blue steering wheel on the top left of my screen goes away, then you know the car is no longer in autopilot or full self-drive. And of course, I'll also let you know. I did notice on this merge right here that the car did not try to center itself in that lane, which it often does. It kept to the lane it was in, which is kind of nice. Makes it look like you're not trying to cut the other guy off who is trying to merge. And so I was happy to see that. Also, the car from a long distance away detected this truck merging into the lane and slowed down 2 miles per hour to let that truck in, giving it lots of time, not making it feel like we were just sort of letting it cut us off when he was doing nothing wrong. So it was really nice and polite of the car to do that. And now if we fast forward into town, something happened that never has happened before. And that is that the car put me in the right lane. That has never happened before. In the past, I have always been put into that left lane, and this time it was different, which is interesting. The car did it without hesitating either. Sometimes it will jump back and forth and then quickly decide, but this time I did it with no issues whatsoever. Got over in the right lane, and I thought maybe it's because I'm going to be turning right, but then that's still 4.5, 5 miles down the road. So I would be surprised if it was already taking that into consideration, but it got over there no problem, kept me there, and turns out it was a lane I wanted to be in anyway. Now, when I had to make this turn up here, I ended up following all these dump trucks, and this was kind of strange, and I'm not really sure how I feel about this. Look what happens here as I turn this corner. The car gets so close to these semis that maybe it doesn't look that much in the video, but I'm maybe only like 2, maybe 3 car lengths max from this semi, and I have like all of my boundaries and distances set at maximum. And I was like right on that semi. So I ended up taking over right here, kicking it out of full self-drive and passing these semis to get in front of them. Not only that, just this morning, Safe Flight was at my house repairing a crack in my front windshield. And if you're not aware, Tesla front windshields are a lot thinner than your normal Subaru windshield, for example. The reason for that being there's so much weight in the battery. That's one of the places they try to reduce weight to keep the car lighter. So because of that, in a Tesla, you get a lot of rock chips and stuff to where in other cars you may not, just in case you didn't know. But I passed those dump trucks, got back on, put it back in full self-drive. And what was really nice about this drive is that this is a lot of back kind of country windy roads. It handled that really well, kept me fairly centered. I did notice that on right turns though, it did like to really hug that center line, and you'll see that a little bit later on as well. But overall, it did a pretty good job keeping me lined up. And at the light here, it turned green. It didn't actually make me come to a complete stop, which was nice. And I followed that car right through that intersection. Now, I'll say that up to this point, there was at least 4 times when the car did what we call phantom braking. And I don't mean like a hard power stop. I mean like it went down 2 to 3 miles per hour, which is a lot better than the 5 to 10 that it used to do a while ago. But it was still definitely there, and still definitely in times when it didn't make a lot of sense. There were times when I was going past a dump truck in the opposite lane that it would stop. And the reason why the cars do these kinds of things is because it thinks it's in its path and is trying to protect you. And what Tesla is constantly working on is trying to find ways to make it better and better at predicting what other vehicles are doing, as we saw in the notes here, to prevent that and reduce that as much as possible. I would definitely say overall this has been improved, but it's not gone yet, and that's fine. Tesla's allowed to make improvements. Also, don't look in the passenger foot space because that is a disaster, and I forgot to clean it. You gotta ignore that. All right, now we're entering into this town of Issaquah right here, okay? And this is where things start to go south here, and I don't mean just kind of like I had to take control because, you know, I was touching a line or whatever. I mean, I don't know what would have happened had I not gained control. And just watch what happened here. You saw the preview out of it earlier. This totally freaked me out. I mean, I haven't had any scares like this to date in this car. And now on this update, very much so, big scare. So just as we head into town here, watch what happens. I mean, take a look at this. I'm driving along here, minding my own business, and all of a sudden, the car just dives to the left. I mean, like whiplash, scares the crap out of you, dives to the left into that center lane. Okay, now, some of you guys might have already seen it, and I'm just looking at it now in post, and I can see what happened, and this is crazy. This has never happened to me before, and that is that the car, you can see that its path actually went to go and swerve around the car in front of me. So I don't know if it thought the car was just stopped and was trying to avoid an accident, or if it was just simply trying to pass this guy and use the center lane to try to pass him. And now looking back, I'm wishing that I just let the car do what it was gonna do, but the thing happened so fast, I just kind of panicked and grabbed the wheel, as anybody would. But that's what was happening. The car was actually planning on going around the car in front of me, even though we were going the exact same speed and they weren't braking, which kind of freaks me out, because why, right? After that, I was definitely more attentive to the wheel. You can see my hands are now fully circling the wheel because I don't know what's coming next. But it did manage to go through town pretty much perfectly, navigating all the intersections, the green lights, the red lights, the traffic, you know, picking up all the people on the sidewalk, everything all around me. No phantom braking. The rest of the way through the town was great. It stopped at the red lights, followed cars over train tracks without any kind of phantom braking. You know, it did a really great job, and continued that all the way on for miles, just flawlessly perfect driving. But the problem is, once something like that happens to you on a drive, you're on pins and needles the rest of it. And the thing is with autopilot, and I talk to a lot of people that just simply don't use autopilot because they're afraid of it, and I get it. But the problem with it is it's all based on confidence. Do you believe you're safe using it and stuff? And so normally, if you don't have any bad experiences with something, your confidence grows. But one experience like that, where it's like, well, shoot, if I had been for that split second not paying that close of attention, what would have happened? What if there was a car right there? What if there was someone walking right there? All these different things come in your mind, and that next thing you know, you're like, well, shoot, even though it was just one experience, I no longer trust this car. They could do it again at any moment because I don't even know what caused that. And so it takes a while now, multiple drives to build confidence. And over the last multiple 2-3 updates, I haven't had anything that scared me happen. So my confidence was high, but now we're rebuilding again. And it's just too bad because it was only one experience that happened with. Now take a look at this roundabout coming up here. As it went into that, you can see it's telling me it's creeping, and then it turned the blinker on in the middle of it here, as it should, as it's exiting it, but it creeped the whole way through. You can see there in slow, super slow, choppy, terrible 30 frames per second motion that it did the creepy thing all the way through the intersection, which was way too slow. So I actually put my foot on the accelerator to help myself through the intersection because there's people behind me probably wondering what in the world is wrong with me. The rest of the drive was reasonably fine. So it comes down to how did this react in terms of the improvements of this. I do think that the prediction of other vehicles was really good. I didn't notice there was a whole lot of issues with that. I did notice I got closer to cars than I wanted to be. I did notice on the right-hand turns that I got a little closer to the center line that I'm comfortable with. There was that time that we just finished going over where I did this crazy, you know, jump to the left, which again shatters confidence in the car. And again, nothing around me, people there, no obstacle on the road, was trying to avoid, nothing like that. So really, really strange that happened. But do I think this is an improvement over the last one? Well, we'll see in the upcoming drives. We're going to do a lot of challenges up here coming to see just really if that's still, you know, a fluke thing, or if we're going to see more of that. I don't think there's much improvement on the phantom braking. I feel like there's actually more. We didn't make some of the turns that I've made in the last update. This one, you know, failed to do that. So I don't think there's a lot of improvement that I notice on this drive, but I do love that Tesla is consistently working on improving it, and we'll see what happens in the next one. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this video was all recorded with Insta360 One RS, Insta360's newest, latest, hottest modular camera. If you missed my review video that came out on this just a couple days ago, check it out down below in the description. I'll put the link there. And if you're looking at creating content, you want something for biking, whatever else you got going on, maybe you're gonna start a car channel, whatever, this is an incredible option because of its versatility. So go watch that video. Let me know what you think down below in the description. And I put a link down below as well. It's my affiliate link. If you feel like buying a camera and get some extra accessories with it, check that out. It'll hook you up. So now if you've gotten this update, let me know what you think down below in the description. Let me know if you've had any kind of scary circumstances or experiences with this update, or if I really just had a weird thing. Now I know you guys have all heard this, but please take a second and go down and hit that like button. That's the best way to show appreciation for a video. If you've been entertained and have a good time, that would mean a lot to me. And of course, please subscribe to the channel so that I feel better about myself. See you on the next one.